computation of grades in secondary learning areas. So for task 1, we have the following final grades are obtained in a class of grade 9 students. So we have the set 1 and set 2 of row score. And the question number 1, using a norm reference grading with a 7-point scale, determine the scores that would get a failing mark. So the first thing that we should do is to arrange the row score from the lowest to the highest. And here it is. We already arranged it. And to get the failing mark of the student, we need to get the mean. So mean is equal to the total row score over number of row scores. Number of row scores. Was. So totals, in order to get the total row score, we need to add all the row score here. So all in all, it is 1,844. And the number of row score, it is all 22. So 1,844 divided by 22 is equal to 83.8. So going back, since we are using the norm reference grading with a 7-point scale, we are going to minus it with 7. So minus 7. So 83.8 minus 7 equals to 76.8. So rounding off, 76.8 will be 77. So 77 below is the failing mark in set 1. So, what is your general comment on this? Since 77 below is the failing mark, I can say that in set 1, there are 3 students who had a failing mark. Here is 75, 75, and 77. Number 2 question, using a norm reference grading with an 8-point grading scale, determine the score that would get a failing mark. So, again, set 2, we are going to arrange the row score from the lowest to the highest. And we need to solve for its mean. So, mean is equal to the total, mean is equal to the total row score over number of row score. So total row score in set 2 is 1,917. 1,917. And all in all, this is number of row score 23. So 1,917 divided by 23, it is 83.3. So since we are using the 8-point grading scale, we are going to minus it to 8. So 83.3 minus 8 is equal to 75.3. Then round off to the nearest number, it is 75. So 75 below is the failing mark in set 2. So, how it is compared to the previous grading system used? So, since 75 below, it is lower than 77. So, I can say that set 2 grading, the 8-point grading scale, it is more, much better compared to the set 1 with a 7-point scale, because set 1 there are 3 who got failed, but in set 2, there are only 2 who got failed. Let's proceed to the task 1, letter B. Compute the grade of the students in number 1, grade 5 English with the following row score. Rate in work, 75 out of 100. Performance task, 80 out of 100. Score in quarterly task, 65 out of 100. So, we are going to use this formula in order to get the grade of the student. So first, we are going to find the percentage score of the student. So this is for the written work, performance tasks, and the quarterly test. So the formula is the percentage score equals learner total row score divided by highest possible score times 100. So PS equals learner's total score in the written work. Learner's total scores in reading work is 75, and then the highest possible is 100 times 100%. So PS 75 divided by 100 is 0.75 times 100. It is PS is equal to 75. Finding percentage score in the performance task. So PS performance task is learner's total score is 80 divided by the possible highest score is 100 times 100%. So PS 80 divided by 100 is 0.8 times 100. PS equals 80. So let's move on to the quarterly test. PS equals the learner total row score is 65 over highest possible score is 100 times 100% equals PS equals 0.65 times 100. PS equals 65. So let's move on in solving the weighted score with the use of the formula PS times weight of component. So this is the number that we are going to use, and the weight of component is depending on the subject that we are focusing. So this is the weight components for the written work, performance task, and specific subject. So our component, weight of components is depending on what subject that we are focusing. So number one, weighted score using this formula. PS is 75 times weight of components. So we are focusing on English subject. So we're gonna find the weight of component here. So English is belong to the languages. So written work for the English subject is equivalent to 30%. So we're gonna use this 30% or 0.30. So the weighted score is equal to 22.5. For the performance task, so the fully weighted score equals percentage score is 80 times the weight of components. So for English, performance task is a 50% or 0.50. So weight of components, so 80 times 0.50 is equal to 40. Next is the quarterly task. So weighted score is equal, percentage score is 65 times the weight component for the English in quarterly task. Quarterly task, so 20% or 0.20. So 65 times 0.20 equal to 13. So we are already get the weighted score and the percentage score. And so let's proceed to getting the initial grade of the student. So the initial grade of the student formula is the sum of the weight score. So 22.5 plus 40 plus 13 is equal to 0.5 plus 40 plus 13 is equal to 75.5. So 75.5 is our initial grade, and we are going to find its transmuted grade in the transmutation table that is provided by the Department of Education. So 75.5 in transmutation table is equivalent to 84. So 84. This means that 84 is the final grade for the grade 5 English students. So let's proceed to task 1, letter B, number 2. Grade 6 students in mathematics with the following row score. Reading work 33 out of 50. Performance task 40 out of 60. Score in quarterly task 30 out of 40. So of course we still need to use the formula here. So first we are going to find the percentage score. So percentage score is the learner's total row score divided by the highest possible score times 100%. So for the written work, so PS equals learner's total row score is 33 over 50 times 100%. PS equals 33 divided by 50 equals 0.66 times 100 equals 66. For the performance task, 40 PS equals 40 times divided by 60 times 100%. PS is equal to 40 divided by 60 equals to 0.66 times 100. PS is equals to 66. Let's proceed to quarterly task. So 30 PS, the learner's total scores in quarterly task is 30 over 40 times 100%. PS equals to 30 divided by 40 is equal to 0.75 times 100%. 100 is equal to 75. So let's proceed in resolving for the weighted score. Since it is mathematics, we are going to use this weighted component. 40 for the written work, performance as 40, and quarterly assessment 20%. So, weighted score is equals to 66, the percentage score, times weighted component for the written work in mathematics is 40%, 40, or 0.40. So 66 times 40. So 66 times 0.40 is equal to 26.4. Next is for the performance task. Weighted score is equal to percentage score, which is 66, times the weighted component for the performance task in mathematics, which is 40. So, or 0.40. So weighted component 66 times 0.40 is equal to 26.4. Let's proceed to quarterly test. Weighted score is equal to the percentage score is 75 times the weighted component in the quarterly test in mathematics is 20%. Or 0.20. So weighted score is equal 75 times 0.20 is equal to 15. So let's proceed in getting the initial grade of the student. So initial grade is the sum of the weight score. So initial grade is equal to 26.4 plus 26.4 plus 15 is equal to 26.4 plus 26.4 plus 15 is equal to 67.8. So 67.8 is the initial grade of the student. We are going to look at for the transmuted grade that can be found in the transmutation table provided by the Department of the Education. Transmuted grade for 67.8 is 79. So 79 is the final grade of grade 6 student in mathematics.
Task 2A, the grading system used in K-12 is using the front-end equating approach. Assessment scores are immediately converted to a 100-point scale, and then composite marks are averaged and weighted. Below are the percentage score of Julia Anderson in Araling Panlipunan for the first grading period. Written works included a concept map, essays, news writing, news or article review, and a couple of reaction papers. Performance tasks were comprised of timelines, news reporting, debate, and role play.
So, complete the table below, calculate the row score, apply the percentage weight, and calculate her first quarter grade. So, in reading work, we are going to find its total, then percentage scores and weighting scores. So first, the total, we are going to add all of the row score from the reading work 1 up to 7. So 18 plus 10 plus 19 plus 20 plus 22 plus 25 plus 30 is equal to 144. So next, we are going to find the percentage score with the use of the formula, learner's total row score, divided by the highest possible score times 100%. So PS is equal to, the learner's total row score is 144 divided by the highest possible, which is 190 times 100%. So 144 divided by 190 equals 0.75 times 100 is equal to 75. So 75 is the PS score. So next is we are going to find the weighted score with the use of the formula PS times weight of components. Since we are going to compute the grade in Araling Panlipunan, we are going to use the weight of components. We are going to use this weight of components. So for the written work, WS equals for the PS, which is 75 times the written work weight component is 30% or 0.30. Weighted score is equal to 22.5. So here it is, 22.5. So let's proceed to the performance task. We are going to find the total and the percentage score. So in finding the total, we are going to add the performance task 1 up to 4. So this is for the written work performance task. So total equals 16 plus 24 plus 24 plus 28. So that will be equal to 92. So the total is learner's total row score divided by highest possible score times 100%. So PS equals the learner's total row score is 92 divided by 110 times 100%. PS equals 92 divided by 100 is 83.83 times 100. So PS would be 83. So let's go to 83. So let's proceed to quarterly assessment. So we are going to find its PS, its percentage score, and the weighted score. So PS, this is for the quarterly assessment. So PS is equal to learner's total row score, which is 30. 30 divided by 50 times 100%. So 30 divided by 50 would be equal to 0.6 equals to 0.6 times 100 is equal to 60. So let's get the weighted score. So is equal to PS times weight of components. So the PS is 60. Then the weight component for the quarterly assessment in our Lincoln is 20% times or 20 or 0.20. So 60 times 0.20 would be equal to 12. So now that we are completed our table, we are going to find the initial grade. So the initial grade is the sum of the weight score. So 22.5 plus the weighted component, weighted score in performance task is 30 plus 30 plus 12 equals to 64.5. And we are going to find its transmuted grade in the transmutation table that is provided by the Department of Education. So 64.5 is equivalent to 77. So 77 is the final grade of Julia Anderson in Aralin Panlipunan. Let's proceed to task 2, letter B. Suppose Ellen's grades in the same subject for the second, third, and fourth quarter are 87, 88, 90. Respectively, compute her final rating rounded to the nearest unit and give its descriptive equivalent. So this is the final grade of Ellen, and we are going to find Ellen's final grade in Aralin Panlipunan, the remarks, and of course the general average and the remarks also. So in order to get the final grade in Aralin Panlipunan, we need to add 87, 88, and 90. 87 plus 88 plus 90 divided by 3. So 87 plus 88 plus 90 is equal to 265 divided by 3. 265 divided by 3 is equal to 88.33. And we are going to round it to the nearest unit. It will be, so the grade of Ellen and the final grade of Ellen in Aralin Panlipunan is 88. And the descriptive equivalent of 88 is pass. going to get the general average of LF. We can get the general average by adding all the final grades and divided by all the learning areas. So final grade is 89 plus 89 plus 82 plus 87 plus 88 plus 91 plus 85 plus 54. So divided by all the learning areas. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So divided by 8. So this would be equal to 685 divided by 8 will be 685 divided by 8 will be 85.62. So we are going to round it to the nearest unit. So 85, it will be 86. 86. So 86 is the general average of LM. Now, the descriptive equivalent of 86 is pass. And that's it. We already completed our table. So let's proceed to task 3. You are provided a table showing a sample card of grade 6 student named Paulo for the first quarter of the school year 2020 to 2021. Using the discussion of the lesson 8 as your guide, fill up the empty spaces to get the needed data until you will be able to compute first quarterly grade at class column. So we have the legend. WW for the written work, PS for percentage score, PT for performance task, QA for quarterly assessment. So we are going to find the weighted score in the written work, percentage of performance task, and the quarterly assessment. And we are also going to find the initial grade and the quarterly grade. So, in order to get the weighted score, we need to first to find the weight of component of the different learning area, and we will base on the weight of components in written work, performance task, quarterly, in the different learning area. So this is where we're gonna base for our weight of components. So for Filipino written work, we have 30% or 0.30. For the English, we have 0.30. For the mathematics, we have 0.40. For science, we have 40% or 0.40. For our Panlipunan, we have 30 or 0.30. Edukasyon sa pagpakatao, 30% or 0.30. Edukasyon pangtahanan at pangkabuhayan is 20% or 0.20. Music is 20% or 0.20. Arts, 20% or 0.20. Physical education is 20% or 0.20. And in health, we have 20% or 0.20. And in order to get the weighted score, we need to multiply the percentage score to the weight component. So 85 times 0.30 is equal to 25.5. 82 times 0.30 is equal to 24.6. 70 30.4. Araling panlipunan, 83 times 0.30 is equal to 24.9. Edukasyon sa pagpakatao, we have 84 times 0.30 equals 25.2. Edukasyon pangtahanan at pangkabuhayan, 80 times 0.20 is 16. In music, we have 76 times 0.20 is 15.2. Arts, we have 85 times 0.20, 17. Physical education, we have 80 times 0.20, we have 16. And in health, 85 times 0.20 is 17. So let's move on in solving the weighted score for the performance task. Just like what we do in this written work, we also need to get the weight of component per learning area. So we also need to base it in this performance task in every weight of the components and performance task in every learning area. So for Filipino, the weight component is 50% or 0.50. In English is 50% or 0.50. In mathematics, we have 40% or 0.40. In science, we have 40% or 0.40. Araling panlipunan, we have 50% or 0.50. In edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, 50% or 0.50. In edukasyon pantahanan at pangkabuhayan, we have 60% or 0.60. And in music, we have 60% or 0.60. In arts, we also have 60% or 0.60. Same as with physical education, we also have 60% or 0.60. And lastly, in health, we also have 60% or 0.60. Now, in order to get a weighted score, we need to multiply the percentage score to the weight of component. So, 81 times 0.50 would be equal to 40.5. 77 times 0.50 is equal to 38.5. 67 times 0.40 is equal to 26.8. 79 times 0.40 is equal to 31.6. Then 83 times 0.50 is equal to 41.9. Next is 84 times 0.50 is equal to 42. 84 times 0.60 is equal to 50.4. And music, we have 77 times 0.60 is 46.2. In arts, 81 times 0.60, we have 48.6. And in physical education, we have 80 times 0.60, we have 48. And lastly, in health, we have 81 times 0.60 is equal to 48.6. So let's move on in finding the weight score for the quarterly assessment. So we still need to get the weight of component per learning area, and we also need to base it on this. So for Filipino, we have 20%, so 0.20. English, we also have 20% or 0.20. Mathematics, we have 20% or 0.20. In science, we also 20% or 0.20. In araling panlipunan, we have 20% or 0.20. In education sa or 0.20. In music, same as music, arts, physical education have, they are under remember, so they have all 20% or 0.20. So, let's get the weighted score by multiplying the percentage score to the weight of component. So, 75 times 0.20 is 15. 75 times 0.20, 15. 62 times 0.20 equals 12.4. 65 times 0.20 is 13. 83 times 0.20 is 16.6. And education sa pagkatao, we have 84 times 0.20, we have 16.8. Edukasyon pantahanan at pangkabuhayan, 77 times 0.20, we have 15.4. In music, we have 75 times 0.20 is 15. 20 in arts, 20 times 0.20 is 80 times 0.20 equals 16. In physical education, we have 78 times 8.20, 15.6 is the answer. And lastly, in health, we have 75 times 0.20, we have 15. So now, let's get the initial grades through adding the weight component. So 85.5 plus 40.5 plus 15 is equal to 81. Next, 24.6 plus 38.5 plus 15 is equal to 78.1. Mathematics, we have 28.4 plus 26.8 plus 12.4 is equal to 67.6. In science, we have 30.4 plus 31.6 plus 13, then we have 75. Araling panlipunan, we have 24.9 plus 41.5 plus 16.6 is equal to 83. Next is edukasyon sa pagpapakatao. We have 25.2 plus 42 plus 16.8 equal to 84. Next, edukasyong pantahanan at pangkabuhayan. We have 16 plus 50.4 plus 15.4 is equal to 81.6. Oh, I mean 81.8. Sorry. Next, we have the music. So, 15.2 plus 46.2 plus 15 is equal to 76.4. Next, arts, 17 plus 48.6 plus 16 is equal to 81.6. For physical education, we have 16 plus 48 plus 15.6 equal to 79.6. And lastly, we have for health, 17 plus 48.6 plus 15 is equal to 80.6. Okay, so we had already our initial grade. So next is we are going to get the quarterly grade, and we gonna use the transmutation table that was been provided by the Department of the Education. So 81, the transmuted grade for 81 is 88. 78.1 transmuted grade is 86. For 67.6, transmuted grade is 79. For the science, 75, the transmuted grade is 84. Araling Panlipunan, the initial grade is 83 and the transmuted grade is 89. For the edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, initial grade is 84, transmuted grade is 90. Edukasyong pantahanan at pangkabuhayan, we have the initial grade 81.8 and transmuted grade is 88. And music, we have 76.4, transmuted grade is 85. Arts, initial grade is 81.6, transmuted grade will be 88. And the physical education, we have 79.6, the transmuted grade is 86. And lastly, the health. We have the initial grade 80.6 and transmuted grade is 87. Now we have completed our table. Then let's proceed to the question. First question is, what is Paulo's composite grade in mapping? How did you find it? So the Paulo's composite grade in mapping is 86.5. I get the composite grade of Paulo through adding 85 plus 88 plus 86 plus 87 divided by the number of the learning specification in MAPE, which is 4. MAPE we're using arts, physical education and health, 4. So 85, 88, 86, 87 will be equal to 346 divided by 4, and this will be equal to 86.5. This is the composite grade of Paulo in MAPE. Number 2. In which learning area did Paulo perform best during first quarter? Explain briefly your basis. So, in which learning area? So I can say that Paulo did perform best during first quarter in edukasyon sa pagpapakatao because among all the quarterly grade, edukasyon sa pagpapakatao had the highest grade. So this is 90. Question number 3 is, in which learning area does Paulo need to improve on? Why so? So, learning areas that Paulo needs to improve on is 79, which is the mathematics subject. He needs to improve in this subject because among all the quarterly grade or the final grade, mathematics has the lowest grade of Paulo. Okay, so next is what this level and proficiency in Araling Panlipunan signify. So Araling Panlipunan quarterly grade gain 89. 89 is not a bad grade. So I can say that Paulo is doing good in this subject. Next question. Describe Paulo's overall performance in the first quarter. How would you communicate to his parent? So, the overall performance of Paulo is quite good. And I can communicate to this parent through inviting them for a meeting or during card game. I will give them or show them the card of their child, and then I'll also advise them that they should encourage Paulo to learn more in mathematics subject because this is the subject that he had a lowest score. So he needs to study more, improve his mathematics knowledge so that his grade also will be improved in the next grading. So that will be all. Thank you.
My reflection on the activity that I performed earlier is that computation of grade is necessary in order to evaluate and provide feedbacks to the student performance. In order for the teacher to communicate to the student on which subject that they are performing their best and which the subject that they need to improve their performance. Additionally, teacher in computing grades, the teacher is need to be transparent, consistent, and fair in order to judge the learning progress of the student comparatively and accordingly. I also think that both student and parents should be informed about the grading system so that they are aware on how the grades are made. Lastly, this I want to make point this is regarding on grades, especially on high school and then elementary level. That if the child is belong on the top notcher, it is great. But if they doesn't, we don't need to insult them or take their self-confidence and dignity. Instead, we need to motivate, encourage them to do their best and to improve their performance in the next grading. Besides, nowadays, we can't depend all alone on grades. The learned knowledge and skills is what more matter.